So today's Thursday throwback story is about the time me and my cousin used to make forts. We used to build forts and everything, like instead of tree houses, forts. And then it was me and my cousin and my friends, my friend Blake and my friend Sean. And so we used to make forts all the time up until like 2014. Well, I wasn't making forts until 2014 because I moved here in here in my area. I was gonna say my town, but um, anyway, my area here. And when I moved away from where they were living, I didn't make forts anymore. So I stopped making forts because, well, we don't have as much land as we did before, and also I just was getting older and everything, so I wasn't interested in making forts. I got a pimple here, that's why I'm keep itching. Anyway, gotta find something else to try to get pimples out of my beard and stuff, or under my skin. Anyway, besides that, let's get into today's. I'm messing up on words. To today's Thursday throwback story here. So, back in 2000 and I would say it's 2008, 2009, because my mom used to work at McDonald's, and when we get out of school, she'd still be working, so we had to go to my aunt's house. And after we got off the bus, we'd go to my aunt's house, or my uncle and my aunt Holly would go up to our house when we lived up on another house before we moved to the other house. My old house, we lived at another old house before that. And ironically, they were both blue. Now this house is white, but the other houses were blue, which I was always saying that we should paint this house blue because, well, my room is blue, but I don't know. I don't know what the thing is with blue houses and everything, but anyway, so we moved to the other blue house, but I still continue to forts because my cousins still lived at the same spot. So anyway, we started the forts back in 2008 as something to do. We didn't play video games or anything. Well, he did play video games, and I did have a Game Boy Advance or something, but we didn't really play a lot of video games. He used to all the time. He used to play NASCAR. We used to play NASCAR games, but that's really about it. We didn't play like Call of Duty or whatever. And we didn't have any phones or anything either. He'd bring up a thing of root beer, snacks, and we'd make the fort. And the puppy's right outside of my door. Anyway, so we wouldn't play video games all the time. We make forts. And we used to bring shovels up and rakes and so many outdoor tools and everything. Like, he used to bring a whole entire wheelbarrow up of tools, and we start digging, and we start digging, we start raking leaves away. We I don't know, we just start to build the fort. We build like there's by the time he moved from that house, the fort was huge, and it was like a huge part of the hill was carved out, and I'm pretty sure it's still there. I don't think anybody really cares about filling it in, but it's been like freaking 12, 13 years since, or whatever, I don't know how many years since 2008, 2000. I'm not good with math, but that fort was huge. And he wanted to start getting like an odd job or something so we could start like building it like a building on it or something, but we never did that. But that was going to be our next step if he was going to continue to live there. But then he moved, and that fort became a thing in the past. But before he moved, this fort was literally huge. It was literally almost the size of my room right here. Well, it wasn't like that big, but it was probably really big. It was really big. And like, I would work on one side, he'd work on the other side, and um we we'd bring like tools and everything and bring it back down because he didn't want it he didn't want to misplace the tools. So we'd picked up the tools and everything when it was time to leave. When I was leaving to go home, we'd pick up the tools and everything, and then the next day started over again. After I got out of school, started over again. So yeah, we'd climb up the hill, and the hill was steep too. It was not like just walk up the hill and it's there. No, it's a really big hill too. I don't know why it was so big, but because in the area where he lived, where they were living, it was a hilly area, and we tried to camouflage the fort so nobody would find out, like, other people would find out that it was there. Because there was a lot of nosy neighbors that would be like, why they were doing that or anything. So we'd kind of camouflage the fort. His mother knew, my aunt knew that we had the fort there. She didn't care, but a lot of other people would be too nosy and they would find out. But we would make the fort, and then we'd have our friends come down and be, oh my god, you guys got a huge fort. Yeah, we started working on that fort back in like 2008, 2009. And then when they moved, we continued the fort thing, but I started lose interest in making fort and everything because I just didn't want to make any more forts because it wasn't as epic as the other fort. The other fort was epic. Like, we had our own like area basically. Nobody bothered us or anything, but then when we started to make our own forts again, people would start bothering us and everything because the property wasn't as big as the property that we were making the fort at, the original fort. Well, we continued the fort thing, and then this old lady came out. She used to yell at us all. Well, she yelled at us a couple times and said it was her property, but basically it wasn't even her property. She's like, you guys are on my property. Get off my property, she says. I'm like, ma'am, we're not even on your property. And she's like, well, I'm going to call the state troopers. We're like, oh, call them. We're like, call them. They're going to tell you that this is not your property. And then my grandmother was going to go over. My grandma was going to go over and tell her that this was her property. We literally were on my aunt's property, my cousin's mother's property, my aunt's property. We were even on the lady's property, and she was complaining because she thought we were on her property. There's like these people out there don't do anything else better than just ignoring other people and just, that's all she did. She only yelled at us like once, but she said it was her property. Literally, her property was right here, and we were like right here, basically. So, but we just stopped doing the forts because of that, and we started to do other stuff like ghost hunting or something. Yeah, we started to go ghost hunting and everything, and star hunting and stuff like that, looking at the stars. And that's how I started the star hunting thing, was back like 10 to 11 years ago. And we stopped doing the forts, but then my friend Sean moved into my old house, and then my friend Blake, we started to become friends with my friend Blake, and when my cousin Gregory, they continued the forts, and the old lady started to yell at them again. She's like, she said to my friend Blake, she's like, this is my property, not your property, but it was on his property. It was literally like way up past her property line, and it was like her property was like right here, and his property was like right here. So she started to yell at them again, and they weren't even digging or anything. They were basically like making like a tree house or something. But yeah, that's how fort started. That's one of the things I started to do after. Well, one of the things I started to do was to make forts and stuff when I was younger. I probably would have been a little bit more better shape if I continued the fort thing, but we moved, and this piece of property, there's not really a lot of woods or anything to make anything like that. So, but if I could, I would still be making forts to have something to do. But anyway, And they stopped the forts back in like 2014. I bet the forts are like the sticks and all that they put up for the forts are probably still there. And I bet the original fort that me and my cousin built back in 2009, 2008 is probably still there too. Anyway, this is a long Thursday throwback story, but it was going to be long because it wasn't really short, because it wasn't really short of a thing that me and my cousin did. This was like a long, like 6-7 year thing that me and my cousin used to do to pass the time, basically. We spent our summer breaks and spring breaks making forts all the time. Something that I kind of miss doing, but like I said, we're all older now. It's something that I don't think we'd ever do again, but maybe if we ever get our own piece of land or something, we can have like excavator and make like an actual fort, like a huge fort. But anyway, I'm going to end this video here. I'm going to upload this video later because I know it's going to be long, so I'm going to upload it later. But anyway, peace.